Okay, so welcome to this very special edition of ABN Cast, which we recorded while we were at Aerospace Tech Week in Munich in Germany. And for the first time this year, the guys had a startup area. I think around 30 or 40 startups were invited to exhibit and tell the delegates and the visitors what they're all about. And actually, there's a lot of talk about innovation and startups and the role they play in the aviation sector. So we thought it'd be a good idea to get a few of them together, introduce them and what they do, and have a bit of a chat about what it's like to be a startup in the aviation sector. So we've got 5 here around our microphone. So I'll introduce them one by one. They'll tell you who they are and what they do, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about what it's like to be a startup. So I'm going to start with Noel. Noel is from Spear. Noel, come and tell the ABN Cast listeners who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Lee. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Noel Lurz, and I'm the founder of Spear. We are a procurement technology for MROs and airlines. We give sourcing teams data-driven intelligence to negotiate better outcomes.
That was nice and succinct as well. Thanks, Noel. Okay, so from Noel, we're going to Shinji. Shinji takes the prize for having travelled the furthest to this week's event because he's come all the way from Japan. Shinji, come and tell us who you are and what you do. You are from Nabla Mobility.
Thank you, Lee. I'm Shinji from Nabla Mobility. We are a Japanese startup company, naturally, and using the AI and machine learning technology, providing a software for the flight ops to make their flight operation network-wise more resilient and more fuel-efficient way. So we have several stackable technology, including the inherent turbulence prediction data, so that we can predict what's the best course of the trajectory, avoiding turbulence, maintain the safety, but still maintain the fuel consumption very low as possible.
Lovely, thank you, Shinji. So from Japan, we're moving to Poland, and Marcin, I think I was pronouncing that correctly. Marcin's from Jetvar. Marcin, over to you.
Thank you, Lee, for introduction. Jetvar is doing virtual aircraft and maintenance simulator for operators, training organization, and MROs for maintenance, for technical personnel training.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you. Nice. Okay. It's a very small room we're in here. We've got 5 people, so we're trying to get them around the microphone. Next up, we're going to the UK and Kennedy. So Kennedy is from Ares VR. Kennedy, come and tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Lee. Pleasure to meet everyone here. It's been an amazing week at Aviation Tech Week Europe. We're Ares VR, and we believe the future of aviation training is VR. We are working on 2 pipelines. One is for young talent, where we can help them build confidence in VR, and they can discover whether they want to become a pilot, cabin crew, or an aircraft maintenance engineer. And on the enterprise side, we work with training organizations, airlines, and flight schools to digitize their modules, curriculums with their instructors. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Kennedy. Okay, the next voice you'll hear will be distinctly French in sound because he's from France. It's Hugo. And I'm going to pronounce this Inui. Is that okay? Inui. What is Inui, Hugo?
Hello. Inui is actually developing an aircraft, BWB, fully electric for regional commutation, transporting 19 people. We aim to develop a very responsible aircraft, very efficient in fuel, and also very environmental friendly. And we want to make electric air travel affordable to all. And this aircraft will come very close to you on the nearest airfield, whether it is a paved runway and grass or even water.
Okay. And I've seen a model of Hugo's aircraft on his stand. It's a very small model, but it's very futuristic looking, isn't it? It's like it's a bit like it's come from space or something. It's a spaceship type thing. So really exciting to see that. Hopefully we'll see it flying in the skies one day soon. I'd like to bring the guys in one by one. It's a little bit tricky because of the microphone. We've got to get them down to it to speak. So I will introduce them to answer each question. Can I just bring Kennedy in first? I'd like to ask Kennedy about, you mentioned about what you're doing is bringing young people into the industry. You're a young person. You're already in the industry. So tell me a little bit about how you came into the industry yourself, and what it's like to be a young person in a startup in aviation.
So I came all the way from Zimbabwe, and I studied aerospace engineering with pilot studies in the University of Hertfordshire. What I would say was beautiful about the program was at one point you get to go to America and you get to fly all different types of aircraft. And throughout that experience with my peers, I discovered there has to be a better methodology for us to familiarize and get excited about the industry besides cardboard cutouts and 2D simulators. So it definitely has been a fun experience being in the startup world. It is difficult. It is very challenging but rewarding because the way you develop and grow overnight, it's incredible, and the people you meet, you never forget them and you make friends for life.
Okay. It's really nice. Noel, can I bring you in? We were talking earlier about your journey into aviation. It's a longer story than Kennedy's, but it did start in Malaysia, but now you're resident and have been resident in Dublin for a long time. So just tell us about how you got into this sector.
Thanks, Lee. I suppose I trained as an accountant, and one of the things that when you're trained as an accountant is you have to look after your margin. No business is viable without paying a close attention to margin. I mean, companies focus on sales, marketing, and branding, and yes, that's all important. The market wants to know, but at the end of the day, if you're the CEO of a company and you have to report your earnings per share and your gross your net margins and your earnings every quarter, you have to look at your costs. And as Willie Walsh said it the other day, the airline industry, the margin is so thin. It's between 2.5 to 3% at very best. And so if you want to report your earnings on a quarterly basis and make sure that your shareholders are happy, or you attract more shareholders to you need to look at costs. And it all starts out with how you source, and sourcing is a pain. Nobody goes to university. Nobody goes to university to become a procurement person. People are thrown into that area. It's like just you get sent there and you're told to do it, and people are not trained. They're not shown how to do it, and we are effectively giving them all the intelligence in one place, so they don't have to go to Google search. They don't have to go to accounting records. They don't have to call Mary, Mick, and John and ask for advice as to where they should source from. We're providing all that intelligence in one place. I'd say we think of us as the Sky Scanner for B2B sourcing.
Okay. That's a good way to put it. Shinji, your Nabla is part of the Boeing accelerator program. We spoke to them earlier for an ABNcast edition. We spoke to Jacqueline from there. So I think that she's got eight of their cohort here this week. What's the advantage of being part of that group, and what do you get out of it as Nabla?
Sure. For us, that the Aerospace Accelerator program gave us a lot of opportunity to learn the typical lesson in this aerospace industry, so that from the collaboration with the Boeing mentors, they taught us a lot of how we should behave, how should we establish our business cases, and what's the typical practice we should be accounted for, not only for the technology wise but the business case wise. That gives us a lot of the valuable assets for us to develop our business case internally. On top of that, because they are as a cohort member, which we can share some lesson learned or best practice across our portfolio company, so we don't feel alone anymore. So that we are part of the portfolio company, also part of the Boeing family, so that we can drive further and making some lots of effort by ourselves.
Yeah. And were you in aviation prior to setting up Nabla? Is that your background, or did you come at it from another sector?
Oh, so our background is naturally aeronautics engineer. So it was so natural for us to get into the aerospace industry, and we see that there's an opportunity to further improve the efficiency of the operation by using the laws of enhancing the connectivities as well as enhance computational power. So that's why it's so natural for us to get into this industry.
Okay, lovely. And Martin, what's your story? How did you get into the aviation sector?
So I started with General Electric, which is a manufacturer of engines for aviation engines, and I was with them for 10 years doing failure analysis, also in oil and gas industry for gas turbines. Then I moved to data analytics and in service. I worked with a couple of startups, hardware startups, software startups with different industries, and in parallel I was developing this product, which we believe it's a change required to speed up the learning and training of new employees, as there is huge demand for new technicians around the world.
Yeah. That is clearly one of the big problems in aviation at the moment, is the lack of people. So technology can really help with that. Why does it require startups to do that for the big companies? Why can't they do it themselves? And what can you bring that the big companies themselves, like the Gs of this world, can't do?
It normally takes a couple of years for big companies to develop some innovative solutions. Usually the big companies are not flexible enough to develop innovation quickly and introduce it to the market. The stories are that good ideas could be killed inside the company in the process. So normally it's better for some big companies to buy solutions from the suppliers, or to develop something that's already developed and proved, right? So it's tricky to develop innovation inside big companies.
Yeah. And Hugo, there are a number of reasons why the industry wants to move to a new power, because clearly sustainability is not going to go away and everyone's got to move away from fossil fuels. So electric is obviously one of the big options. It's happened in the automotive industry, and we've seen what the impact of Tesla, I suppose, in that industry. Again, a similar question to Marcin. Why does it take a startup to do this when all these big guys have got all the dollars to invest, and then you guys come along and say, well, we'll invent the next kind of aircraft?
Why do we have to do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the advantage of a small company like that doing, like you doing it?
Because we can move very quickly, think fast and apply, test all of our ideas very fast. What we are lacking is funds to get even faster, but in a very short span, in terms of weeks and months, we are able to build the model, to evaluate it, to make it fly, and to basically demonstrate that the concept is very feasible.
Yeah. You were saying to me yesterday when we spoke that money and funding is key, and if you can find the funding, you can move faster. Is that the only thing that's holding you back?
Of course, because now we run on limited funds and we are not that many in the team.
Yeah.
And if we could potentially grab some talents and gather other competencies, of course, that will be a great help to move faster, and we could do basically anything.
Yeah. Do you think, is there an arms race at the minute going on for the first company to create the most feasible electric aircraft? There's a few others out there that have launched pilot aircraft and hoping to be the first in market.
There is a lot of companies that are aiming that kind of that have similar project, but in our market we have a very notable lead.
Yeah.
And yes, there is not too much competitors on this specific market. There is a lot of project on urban mobility and over 1,000 kilometers mobility, but in the range of 500 to 700 kilometers of mobility, there is not that many actors. So we have the door is wide open, and we just want to grab this opportunity.
Okay. Shinji, can I ask you about how you found regulatory aspects in aviation? It's a highly regulated sector. Safety is always the number one priority. What you're doing is essentially trying to change the way it operates. So there can be a lot of pushback on that, quite a few barriers. Do you find the regulators are open to listening to what the kind of things you're doing? Or if they're not, how do you help them understand what it is you're doing?
Well, the ATM is definitely the biggest factor we should account it for. But everybody knows that it's so hard to change what is acceptable, what is not acceptable in this area. So what we do is we try to identify what's a variable parameter which airline can pull, and so that we can focus our parameter around what is changeable from the startup perspective. Naturally, we are prioritize the communication with those regulators as well. But even looking at ATM, the world is not united yet. Every FAA has a different idea as opposed to what Eurocontrol have been thinking, or EASA have been thinking, and Japan as well. So we try to put our radar as wide as possible to see what is going on as a boundary condition, and we try to drive what is feasible solution we can offer to the airlines. So we try to keep it as a separate topic, so that we can provide something new in this industry. But naturally, as we progress further, we wanted to further incorporate together with the Chicago regulatory people as well.
And Noel, do you find regulatory headaches sort of a stifling, or do you find that you can work with them? Do the regulators know what you're trying to do and they're happy to embrace it?
I suppose the great thing about our technology is that regulatory issues do not prevent the mobilization or the adoption of our technology. What's really critical is that if somebody is sourcing and they need to make sure that whoever they source from, the certification meets regulatory standards, that they are collecting that. Because, say for example, if you are an aircraft owner and you have to hand your aircraft at the end of a lease after 7 years, the owner of the aircraft is going to check to see where did you source your parts from, who did you get certified, where the certification came from, and now you're scrambling for data. So I suppose the using of a sourcing technology that where all your data is in one place helps this not only sourcing person purchase but also deal with issues that might come on in place 7 years. So that's really as far as regulatory is concerned, is making sure that you have all your records in place, so there's an audit trail.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. We haven't got much time left, but let's just talk about innovation in the industry. Kennedy, can I bring you in on this one? There's a lot of talk this week about innovation and whether the industry is innovative enough. What's your views on that? Do you think the industry is innovative enough? And if it's not, what can it do to become more innovative?
I think startups play a key role in this to make the industry more innovative. They use, of course, always the running joke that aviation is like 20 years behind every other industry. But I think now with the emergence of new technologies, be it 3D printing, be it AI, which can be slightly overhyped, there's definitely more drive for everyone to innovate more, and there's the rise of accelerators and startup hubs, which I think are really key.
Yeah. Martin, what's your some thoughts on innovation? Do you think the industry is embracing of innovation enough?
There are regulations which now changed after the COVID, so they are less strict, and still there's still options to improve, especially in maintenance, where you could see a lot of many solutions, innovative solutions for pilots, which are very innovative. But for technical trainings, it's still, let's say, it could be more innovative. There's lack of tools, and there's a huge gap between pilots training and maintenance. Guys, where they are, when we interviewed them, they were asking about, we would like to see more interactive tools from the training providers. We would like to see something similar as pilots are using. So that's our goal, to bring it, to make it affordable and available for maintenance. So for sure there is still a lot of things to be done, and also to understand the regulations and what is allowed, what is not. So this is critical to save time and money to avoid developing something what makes completely no sense from the practical training perspective and from the regulatory perspective.
Yeah. Hugo, you've got the dual, I guess, challenge of convincing the regulators to be more innovative and open-minded, but also the customers. I mean, at some point customers were going to be flying on electric aircraft. I don't know, something that make you think, do I really trust an electric aircraft? But then why do I trust an aircraft full of kerosene? So is that one of the challenges that this industry will face? It's convincing the customer that this new technology is safe and properly regulated and able to use.
Yes, the customer is at the very center of this whole thing, and that's why we believe that a very simple aircraft is the key to reduce the risk at the maximum. And basically, we even went through like taking the decision to go for like mechanical commons to get rid of all the uncertainty of flight controls with computers. There is, of course, strict regulatory around that with very specific means to get certification for all the embedded systems. but I don't think that being powered electrically is that much of a shift. What's really important is designing the plane very simply and reducing for example, the number of parts for example, in the wing, our system is very simple. We just have 10 moving parts, not hundreds like in huge planes that you fly every day in. So yes,
okay.
To me, being electric is not that much of a threat.
Yeah, it's like electric cars are simpler than combustion engine cars,
Exactly.
and hopefully go wrong less often. Right, we've really sort of run out of time. I want to just get the guys in one each before they go. Just a quick thought on this week's event and what you've got out of it, the kind of people you've met, and what you will go away back to your businesses with. So let's go around from Noel and then do the guys. So Noel, quick thoughts on this week and what you've got out of being here.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. As a startup, I mean, I have to thank the exhibitors for giving us the startup sort of a place for us to meet, but to also meet with potential partners, investors, early adopters. So it's been a great place for I suppose for the community to meet up and exchange ideas. So really appreciate being here.
And Shinji, a positive experience being here. You're going to take some good stuff away from it.
Yeah, sure. As Noel said, it was a super honor for being here to have a conversation with many stakeholders, not only for the prospect, but also the investors or, just industry stakeholders to give us some feedback or partnership opportunities. So, yeah, we had a great positive, experiences here as well.
Good. Marcin, how do you feel this week's gone for you?
Yeah, this was good, especially that we could join as a startup. Just at the beginning, it's important to. We were able to connect with potential partners, and we met some customers here. So it's a good chance to just network, build your network, and even find partners for development. Right?
Yeah. Hugo, did you meet your big investor here?
No, but we did meet some potential industrial partners, and that was the thing we went for, like meeting, tying bounds, and just see with whom we can work with in the future.
Yeah. Okay. And Kennedy, you get the last word. How have you found it? I saw you demonstrating the VR headset quite a lot on your stand.
It's been a good experience. I really appreciate the European inviting us over. I think something that was really cool was to be able to talk with airlines manufacturers and also understand their different thought processes and what they value. It was also good to see other startups, because it's so easy to just get stuck behind your desk in your own little world. So that's been quite refreshing. Overall, really happy with the experience, and we got people trying our demo.
That's a good point. Do you startups get together enough, do you think, even if you did in different things or trying to do different things? Is it good to just get around a table together and sort of share your stories and compare the scars on your back?
For me personally, this is the first time I've been able to meet other aviation startups.
Yep.
And to be able to know they're going through the same challenges I'm going through and exchange ideas and experiences and feedback. Like Noah was, giving me some of his experiences and thoughts on like pricing and challenges like that.
Yeah.
So it's invaluable. We definitely need more experiences like this.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, look, we've run out of time, and I'm going to let you go. And good luck, everybody. So please, guys, look out for these guys. You've got Inui, if I've said that correctly, Ares VR, JetVar, Nabla Mobility, and Spear. Look out for these guys. They're up and coming, and I'm sure they'll do great things. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us on ABN Cast, and please look out for future episodes. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Lee. Thank you.
Cheers.